Hi, I'm Jenny Robertson, founder of the On Purpose Woman Global Community and founder and publisher of On Purpose Woman magazine. I'm here to share the speaker portion of our Connections Over Coffee gathering of the On Purpose Woman Global Community. Our speaker, Gail Dixon, is speaking on Don't Talk Yourself Small. She will share 3 verbal habits that make you look and feel small and unimportant, what to avoid saying, and what to say instead. Gail is a speaker, author, and coach who guides people to hear and express the heart's voice that gives their life meaning and purpose. Gail is recognized as a top expert for speakers, thought leaders, and mission-driven entrepreneurs in creating messages that make an impact. As leader of the Heart's Voice movement, Gail is committed to creating a future where the heart's voice is the universal language that heals the world. Welcome, Gail. Looking forward to your talk.
Thanks so much, Ginny. It's always a pleasure to be in the community of such wonderful women. And I find it so interesting that one of the things we did in the Zoom group before we came on was to shout out others. And as women, that comes very naturally.
Sounds like you're starting your talk. I'm going to get out of the spotlight right now, but thank you, Gail.
Okay. That's okay. So as women, lifting up others comes very naturally for us. But something else that comes naturally for us that doesn't feel quite as good is what I call speaking yourself or talking yourself small. And that is the unconscious habits that we pepper into our conversation and our day-to-day interactions that have the effect of keeping us less than our full and vibrant selves. And that's less than in our own minds, in the minds of others, and in our public presentation. One of the things we talked about in our breakout room was how several of us had been conditioned as children to do that kind of diminishment, that kind of putting yourself one less, one down, one smaller. And I came to notice in my own life how much that was happening for me when I began to be really clear about the power of words and about how we talk to ourselves and about ourselves and to other people isn't just a descriptor of our reality, but in some ways, a definer of our reality. We speak our lives into being by the words we use. We listen our way into a way of being by the way we receive the words around us. And so this morning, I wanted to take the time to talk about the 3 habits that are most common about how we speak ourselves small and ways to counter that. Because each of us is a sacred being who deserves space and place on this earth to live our sacred self into divine community and into fulfillment of our purpose and our intention in life. And so it's really important to me that we get the words that are in our way out of our way and substitute words that will pave the way for who and how we want to be in the world. So the first linguistic habit I want us to look at is what I call always apologize. How many of you find yourselves in multiple situations where you begin a conversation, begin your verbal interaction with, I'm sorry, but. Any of you? I used to do it a lot. I still probably do it more than I'd like. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I did this. Even when we're claiming our space in a collective conversation, it's our turn to speak, and we apologize for countering someone else's opinion, adding to someone else's opinion. We apologize for taking up space and place in the world. It is a habit that we do so unconsciously, we don't even hear ourselves. Instead of always apologizing, I'd invite you to be truthfully thanking others, yourself, and the universe for the space and place that you're taking up. Instead of saying, I'm sorry I'm late, try, thank you for waiting for me. Instead of saying, I'm sorry, but, when you're interjecting a common opinion, say, that's a good point. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, but I need this. I'm sorry, but I'm asking for this. Try saying, please give me this. Please provide this. I'd like it if. The apology implies that somehow we feel as though we're taking something that doesn't belong to us, that we're not entitled to. Not so. I trust that if someone is late to the party, it's because they were filling their time and space with something that was a priority. And they deserve to be waited for. They deserve to be welcomed when they arrive. When someone interjects an opinion, even if it's contrary to mine, I presume that their thought has as much right to space and place as any other thought in the room, so long as they're delivering it with kindness and respect. So try truthfully thanking rather than always apologizing. See how different it feels. See how different it would feel to you if people didn't apologize to you before they said what they needed to say, or before they said something, before they asked apologies for something that wasn't their fault and for which they don't need to feel culpable. So that's the first one. After always apologizing, the next habit of speech that keeps us really small is what I call constantly comparing. Oh, man, that comparison is a monster, a real monster. We compare how we used to be to how we are now, or to how we want to be. We compare ourselves to others, very often comparing our behind the scenes mess to somebody else's polished performance. You know, that comparison, we compare perfect to possible. Comparison by necessity sneaks in a subtle value. It sneaks in the one up, one down, one preferable to the other, one that is better. Is that what we want to do to ourselves when we engage in constantly comparing? Is that what we want to do to other people when we compare them to others in the world or to some unrealistic standard? Comparison is not compassionate. So the constantly compare. Instead of the constantly comparing, I use things like, instead of, well, this was this and that was that, say, now this is the case. Or at present, I'm this. At some point, I may be that. But the comparison, the infusion of that value is hard. I try as much as possible, and it's hard when you're trying to sell something as an entrepreneur. It's hard to take out that biggest, best, most, least, superior, inferior kind of stuff. But if we sell ourselves, if we offer our service as the epitome of what we want it to be, the best of what we can be without comparison to someone or something else. If we genuinely sell something on its merits rather than on the demerits of something else, we feel more authentic. And I can't tell you how many entrepreneurs I've heard who resist selling or offering their solution in the world because they don't like how it feels in the competitive frame. And the truth is, we're not competitive. We coexist, and I promise you, I absolutely promise you, that there is enough business in the world for all of us. There is no need to scramble to be the top of the heap. So that comparison, or finding ourselves at the bottom of the heap because other people have scrambled on top of us, there is space enough and place enough for all of us. We deserve to be here. The third piece, the third linguistic habit that's really tough, is what I call deliberately diminishing. Rooted in the sense of I am not enough, not good enough, not wise enough, not evolved enough, not whatever. The deliberately diminishing, it shows up in language like, I'm just a housewife. I'm only a beginner. I'm just this, or partially that, or not yet this. That language invites others to put us one rung down. We put ourselves there when we introduce language like that. And it is something, I'm just a beginner. Instead of doing that deliberate diminishing, I invite you to just speak yourself strong. If you're a beginner, be proud that you're beginning something new, not diminishing the beginning. I'm a beginner. That sounds positive, purposeful, full of possibility. Hear how different that sounds, that I'm just a beginner. It's an invitation. One of the things that is so hard for us, particularly as women, is that we live in a culture that for many years purposefully and intentionally diminished our experience, our way of being, and our work in the world as less than or not as good as the way men experienced the world and lived their purpose. Thank goodness we have come a long way from those days. Thank goodness that we have communities of connection to other people who can help lift us up. But our old conditioning dies hard. It shows up in unexpected ways, and it keeps us from feeling as fully ourselves as we were meant to be in the world. And I don't mean to tell you that the language is magical, and if you just get rid of those speaking yourself small things, that suddenly the world is going to turn around and everything will be beautiful. It still takes work. It still takes effort, and stuff still happens. What I am going to tell you is that how you feel about yourself and how you present yourself in the world will be different and will feel better when your language places it in a powerful and positive perspective rather than a diminished, one down, or invisible perspective. So I'm here to invite you that instead of speaking yourself strong, I want you to speak, or speaking yourself small, I want you to speak yourself strong, speak yourself successful, present yourself as powerful as you truly are. You have in you all the seeds of success. You water those seeds with your efforts. Now let your words reflect all of those positive things, so you see yourself and present yourself as positively as we who are in this community see you.
Wow. Here I come, Gail. Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you for inspiring us with your wisdom, but also just your beautiful way of presenting. Whenever you speak, I always feel like I want to lean in, and like I feel like you're talking and we're having a private conversation. Raise your hand, Zoom roomers, if that feels kind of the way to you, that she's just having this conversation with us. So thank you so much, Gail. We're going to take some questions after I turn off the camera, but I would love for all of you here in the Zoom with us to unmute yourselves and let's applaud for Gail. If you want to shout a little bit, that'd be great too. Make a little noise and just thank her for this beautiful presentation.
Great.
Thank you.
Well done. Well said.
Very well
you.
done.
Thank
And I want to
you.
thank anyone who's watching this live in the On Purpose Woman Global Community Facebook group or on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to attend one of our Zoom gatherings, we do have 9 different ones every month, or an in-person in Columbia, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia, or Tallahassee, Florida. You can just comment below and I'll tell you how to do that, or you can go to my website, opwgc.com, and find out about our community. I also do want to mention that Gail's website is heartsvoicemovement.com. That's correct, right, Gail?
That's
so
correct.
Please go there and find out about Gail's amazing work in the world. So thank you everyone for watching.